merry-go, merry-go, merry-go-round. Do, 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 merry-go, merry-go, merry-go-round. Do, 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 me and you can go merry-go-round. It's very easy, just go up and down. Come on, let's merry-go, merry-go, merry-go-round. Do, 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 merry-go, merry-go, merry-go-round.
People say to me, Alexei, how have you managed to stay for so long at the top of this crazy world that we call show business? Is it that you can craft a gag like a diadem-encrusted Fabergé egg? Is it that you combine the judgment and guile of a Machiavelli along with the wisdom of the Dalai Lama? And I say, no, it's 'cause I'm hard. I'm the cock of the BBC, mate. I fought to get where I am today. You see, getting on in show business has got nothing to do with talent. It's all about how you can use these, your fists. Yeah, I'll take on anybody. I had Ale and Pace back in '81 and a bare-knuckle brawl of Broadcasting House. The production team of the Monocle Mutiny, the Financial World Tonight. Ian Lavender, it was me what made Philip Schofield go over to ITV. I'll take them all. Anybody who wants a bit, they get it. So with that in mind, join me while I have a discussion about the scheduling of this series with the controller of BBC Two. You, outside.
Alexei! 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 Alexei!
Transmission at 8:10 after the lottery. Top of the repeat on Wednesday, omnibus on Sunday. Disney Time special. And no more bleeding BBC Two. I've got this mate, and he's amazing, right? He says you never have to buy another piece of furniture again. No, you can furnish your entire house from stuff that you find in skips. Yeah, and he's actually done it, right? He's kitted out his entire house with stuff he's found in skips. Of course, I never go and visit him anymore, because his house is full of piss-stained mattresses, flaky bits of asbestos, and a dead Labrador. It's a very 60s thing to do, isn't it, to try and get free furniture? I'm old enough to remember the 60s. Wonderful time, great music, great sex, terrible cars. Who now remembers the Austin Tomato, the first family hatch front? I say it was a different world, the 60s, really. We had full employment, yeah. We had a wonderful healthcare system, great transport network. We got reasonable wages. Does that mean that we, the workers, conscientiously settled down and did the jobs that we were being paid to do? Did we, stinkety bollocks? Yeah, you just used to leave your job when you felt like it. Oh, I'll start this job. Oh, I'll leave it. Oh, I'll start it. Oh, I'll leave it. And the boss would go, please, please, take your job, take a job. No, no, I'm going. I mean, you used to leave your job, right, if your shirt clashed with the wallpaper. Mind you, the shirts we had then. I mean, I had this shirt in the 60s. It clashed with the wallpaper, clashed with the carpet, clashed with the Bosnian Serbs. Everybody was on the fiddle when I was at work in the 60s. Like, I had this mate worked in a bacon factory. He had more bacon than he knew what to do with. He had, like, bacon walls. He had a bacon couch. World of leather? No. Planet of pork? And blokes who work down the nuclear power plant, they used to nick the plutonium and sell it down the market at lunchtimes. Come on, girls, get your own plutonium here, girls. Surprise your husband with your own nuclear deterrent, girls. Bad radioactivity devices of all fission processes. Mind you, they're cunning, aren't they, the nuclear industry? They try and convince us that plutonium is harmless by naming it after a Disney character. Recently, there's been a bit of a backlash against 60s-style education, and not before time. It's a scandal that children in our schools are still being taught that spelling doesn't matter, that Harold Wilson's the Prime Minister, and that 240 pennies make a pound. An alternative is to force children to learn by rote. But the things that children are actually forced to repeat over and over again are often completely useless, like Richard of York gave battle in vain. Sure, so I know the colours of the rainbow in the correct order, but when was the last time you actually saw an indigo thing? No, it'd be much more useful if they were forced to repeat over and over again really important stuff.
Don't do all your shopping on a Saturday. Don't do all your shopping on a Saturday. Do not put letters from the Inland Revenue away somewhere in a drawer. Do not put letters from the Inland Revenue away somewhere in a drawer.
You can really tell what people are like from the contents of their basket, can't you? Like that man over there who's bought a rocket launcher and 6 top hats, he's a nutcase. And that woman who's got 5 lions, an ocelot and a giant panda, she's a zookeeper. I love coming to supermarkets because supermarkets are a really good place to meet food. Like cabbages, for example. Mind you, a head of cabbage is such a waste, isn't it? I mean, why do they throw away the body? And how come, right, if cabbages are so good for you, they never put the ingredients on it? Here. Why did Paul Newman blush? Because he saw his salad dressing. The twat. You get a lot of celebrity products these days, don't you? Like there's Marlon Brando's, I know for a fact it is butter, and the now discontinued 6-pack Shakur. Personally, I hate food that repeats on you, like bonbons. When I was a kid, ice creams had names like Lily Lobble and cost 5p. Now ice cream makers target adults with ice bars that cost a £5 and are called things like Mortgage and Grumpy. And they don't have silly jokes on the sticks anymore. They have short stories by Martin Amis. The range of products is mind-bending. Take this from the makers of instant noodle. Pot. Yes, just add boiling water for delicious, edible dough. And the great thing is, the more you eat, the hungrier you get. Fruit Corner. This is the yogurt that makes you feel that you're creating a meal by moving a little bit of jam from here to here. The guy that invented this must be the same guy that invented those swimming pools. You know, where you have like a big deep end and a little shallow end. And if you want, you can add more water. Supermarkets ultimately exist to make you buy stuff. They encourage you to do this in many subliminal ways. For example, if we turn up the background music, we hear the hard sell.
Buy stuff. Buy stuff. Buy all our stuff. Buy stuff. You can never get enough.
There's a sinister psychology at work. The way the sweets are by the checkout. The way the checkout girl is by the checkout. And the way the whole thing is hidden behind a sign that says, supermarket. Detectives like to hang around supermarkets because everything checks out. The supermarket is an apt zoo for modern man. Dead fish, dead animals, dead bread, but all at really good value. What is it about rock musicians and drugs? The list of rock casualties is a long one. Jimi Hendrix, Brian Jones, Bon Scott, Andy Gibb, Sid Vicious, some bloke out the Smashing Pumpkins whose name I can't remember. They must have a bloody awful band in heaven. That or a long queue at the chemist's. But you know, I think the fans actually like it that way. They like to live vicariously through musicians. I mean, nobody would applaud if a chambermaid threw a telly through a hotel window, would they? And can you think of any other profession where people would think you were better because you were out of it?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Captain Jackson, and your first officer today is Tony Payton on this flight to Rome. Passengers may be interested to know that I have taken a terrifying cocktail of mind-altering substances. I've opted for 3 tabs of E, a couple of twists of speed, and 30 of my granny's heart pills.
When someone asks, do you love me? Always say yes. Honesty will not help. When someone asks, do you love me?
Hi. You may have noticed that once again I didn't get anything in the New Year's honours list. Now you might say, well, that's because they didn't offer him anything. But there you'd be wrong. You see, Buckingham Palace actually offered me an honour and I turned them down flat. Of course, it didn't happen as simply as the Queen sending me a Gary Larson Farside card and writing in it, Lex, fancy a gong, Liz. Now, you see, you're not allowed to turn the Queen down. So the way you're offered an honour is through a series of escalating nods and winks, hints and whispers. And if you answer all these questions in the affirmative, then you get some sort of honour. So, the way it happened with me was, I was in my local sandwich bar just before Christmas, and behind the counter was this posh man who I'd never seen before. So I said, I'd like a chicken salad sandwich, please. And he said, certainly said, then, in a very significant voice, would you like some mayonnaise on that? I knew, and he knew, that he wasn't really asking me if I wanted any mayonnaise. What he was really saying was, would you like to be made a Knight Commander of the British Empire? So I said, quick as a flash, no, mate. I don't want no mayonnaise. Not now nor never, no mayonnaise, thank you. He said, fair enough. So, I didn't sell out and become a member of the British establishment. And my sandwich was a bit dry. Fight the power. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? These phones are useless, aren't they? They get a lot of interference, you know. Some pick up other people's phone calls, some pick up radio stations, and some, like this one, pick up sailors down the docks and bring them home. Science is great, isn't it? I mean, a few years ago, that would have been unthinkable. But an ear on a mouse's back is only the beginning. Scientists say that within the next 25 years, they'll be able to grow an entire human face on a mouse's back. That's how far we've come. The age-old problem of people having to carry their faces around on the front of their heads will have been solved. Some people say that genetic engineering, mindlessly tinkering with the basis of absolutely everything, is dangerous. But there's a 27% chance that those people are wrong, and I like them odds. The race is on to isolate various genes. The aging gene, the balding gene. They've already found the loneliness gene. That was isolated already. They also assert that there is a gay gene, but how does it get passed on? One of the most exciting discoveries is a crime gene. Yes, a gene that leads to criminality. If this gene really exists, then it could lead to some very early crime detection.
Be there. A big push, you should do it.
Come out! We know you're in there! Come out with your bottom up! We have you surrounded!
And food will almost certainly benefit from genetic engineering. Scientists are working on a featherless chicken, which will convert more of its metabolic energy into meat and eggs. Wow! A new chicken! If that isn't exciting, I don't know what is! And what about the defense applications? We only realized what advances had been made in genetic engineering when, during the Gulf War, we saw the first chilling pictures of the Pentagon's lethal bomber geese.
We have visual with target. Locking on. Direct hit 00 over.
Using innocent animals in this way raises thousands of ethical questions that we may never be able to answer. But if we were to engineer a race of, like, super intelligent gibbons, maybe they could answer them for us. There was a time when I thought men and women were a different species. Then I realised I was going out with a wildebeest. We split up eventually. She said she needed more space. I bought this doll the other day. It's blonde, it wears a suit, it mumbles, and it shoots people. It's called Barbie Keitel.
Party fucking hard. You gotta break that son of a bitch in two. I got so many bad things.
It's very trendy in these so-called 1990s to write about your obsessions. But the trouble is, you can never have that many obsessions. That's what makes them obsessions. Nobody has a nicely balanced range of obsessions which they dabble in when they feel like it. And that's why Nick Hornby is onto such a loser. His first book, Fever Pitch, was about his lifelong, all-consuming passion for football. His next book was about his almost lifelong, not quite consuming, very strong interest in pop music. His book after that was about how he quite liked antiques, but not as much as music and football, and how his interest in antiques affected his weekend, but not if there was any music or football on. His book after that was about how, as a child, the young Nick had seen a documentary about termites, and from that time on, he'd thought about it more than once. His forthcoming book is about his complete and utter indifference to hats, and how his indifference to hats has failed to affect his life in any discernible way. Sales are dropping off.
If you are a comedian and early in your career, you often refer to yourself as a fat bastard. Do not be surprised if drunk men shouted at you in pubs for the rest of your days.
Why didn't I listen? Hello, Edna.
Bobby, dear, are you having the usual for lunch?
No, I might have food. Mr. Papadopoulos, can I have 2 egg and chips and 2 egg and chips, please?
Right, Bobby, so that's 4 egg and chips.
No.
So, Bobby, dear, how are the student gigs going?
Oh, they're going fantastic, yeah. You know, they laugh at stuff that nobody's ever laughed at before.
Ah, but you must remember, Bobby, dear, they're laughing at you, not with you.
Yeah. What's your point?
Nothing.
Hey, some of them student girls are really attractive as well, you know. And I think some of them actually fancy me, you know.
Really? Which ones?
The ones studying anthropology mostly, yeah. But there's one of them, actually. I'm thinking of inviting her out for a sophisticated meal. Yeah, I'm thinking of taking her to a little chef.
Oh, no. Bobby, dear, no. You must find one that can at least reach the top of the stove.
Yeah. Well, I might take her for a curry, you know, because I like me women like I like me curries.
What, you mean hot and spicy?
No, costing no more than £7. I'll tell you what, though, I'm really into signs of the zodiac, you know, because apparently our lives are controlled by old Ford cars. I was nearly run over by this American car the other day, but I knew he wanted to miss me because he had Dodge written on the front. I don't know why you're laughing at this, it's shite. Wait, all right, Bobby Chariot sleeping in me jag. Separated from me kids. On pills for me nerves. Life of unmitigated disaster. I'll tell you what though, you know, if you go into the Sunday supplements and that, they all tell you you might have something in your attic that's worth a lot of money, right? So I went up to my attic and sure enough, there was something in there. I sold it for £4,000. Now the family are really pissed off with me because they don't like living in a house with no roof. They hate me. They hate me, me family. They think I'm a vile worm. Bobby Chariot, hey! So, you know, with all my personal problems and the rash and that, it's very difficult finding women, you know. Somebody told me I should look out for a woman on the rebound, right? So I spent a lot of time hanging around the bottom of bungee jumps. All right, darling, how you doing? All right, darling. Anyway, yeah, and you know, sometimes you get in a taxi, don't you, and they have a photo of the driver's face, don't they, on the window, like on his identity card. They should have a photo of the back of his head, really, shouldn't they? Yeah, would you like to see some juggling? Yeah, me too, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Anyway, right, the other week, I say it's a bit of a lonely life sleeping in the old Jag, in the old Jaguar. It's a bit sad, sometimes you do like a drink, and one night I was in the Jag, and I'd had about like 9 pints of lager, right? Half a bottle of vodka, yeah. Bottle of Bacardi. Bottle of champagne. About 20 bottles of that heat, Anyway, I got stopped back. I was driving like that, driving like that, driving along, right? I got stopped by the coppers, right? The copper stopped me, right? And he said, "Excuse me, sir, have you been drinking?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "About 9 pints of lager, half a bottle of vodka, bottle of Bacardi, bottle of champagne, 20 bottles of heat." So he said, "Do you mind blowing into this bag?" I said, "Why? Don't you believe me?" God, this must be the best moment of my life. I mean, there's nothing that's going to spoil this. Nothing can spoil this, you know what I mean?
Wow, man, look at that comedy club down there. Hey, should we try and crash on it, Mon Capitan? Can't see why not.
In my day, an apple mac was a type of coat made out of fruit. Now, of course, it's a computer. Pretty soon, computers will be everywhere and promising to do everything, like politicians. Recently, a computer beat the world chess champion, Garry Kasparov. Scientists seem intent, despite their many applications, on designing a computer which can beat people at chess. There must be a hardcore of embittered scientists who were thrown out of chess club when they were young and have been bent on getting their own back ever since. Scientists are working on an intelligent computer, but even if they could, I don't think that they should. Because surely, by definition, an intelligent computer would be one that didn't work most of the time. But thanks to computers and the internet, soon you'll be able to work and shop without leaving the comfort of your own home. And this will be fairer for everybody. The homeless will be able to beg for money from us without us leaving the comfort of our own home. What an equitable society it will be. Eventually, computers will try and wipe us out, and 2 words will take on a sinister new meaning: computer dating. After all, this is where computers have the most potential power. All they have to do is interfere in the dating process. Thus, men will find themselves being paired off with dogs, litter, rubbish bins. And women will find themselves going out with box-shaped midgets. Computers! Eventually, humans will die out, apart perhaps from a small race of dog people. And what will the computers do after they have computed everything that there is to compute? Why, they will spend the rest of their days trying to create a human being that can beat them at chess.
Soldier. Horse. Castle. Queen. King. Bishop. Soldier.
Time's a funny thing, isn't it? I suppose it's nature's way of stopping everything happening at once. Imagine dinosaurs and Bobby Moore and the Renaissance all happening in the same room. You'd never get your carpet clean, would you? And imagine if this show happened all at once. Come on! As you get older, you start to know more and more people who are divorced. I know women who are on their second or third husband, although curiously, they've all still got their first wok. It's sad when people get divorced, though, especially if there's kids involved, because they often use the children as weapons. You often see a couple fencing with a pair of 4-year-olds. One of the things you worry about as you get older is your memory going. This is true. Recently I bought some pills from the chemist. They're supposed to improve your memory. I keep bloody forgetting to take them. It's funny, isn't it? When you're a kid, you take drugs to get out of your mind. When you're older, you take them to try and get back in. Also, looking back over your life, it's a very cruel thing, memory, isn't it? Very cruel thing, because it seems to me that unpleasant memories are actually much stronger than pleasant memories. You might remember some unpleasant incidents, even if it happened 30 years ago, and it still has the power to make you go, ugh, like that. You know, because pleasant memories are just like a warm, fuzzy glow, aren't they? But unpleasant memories are really sharp. Like, you might remember the time, even though it was in the 60s, when your mum came home early from work and found you in her lollipop lady's outfit, smearing Nutella all over your groin and your arse, you know, and you'll go, ugh, like that, ugh. Or you might remember the time when you told over 4 million viewers on BBC Two about the time when your mum came home early from work and found you smearing Nutella all over your groin and your arse. I've always been interested in cryogenics. For those of you unfamiliar with the concept, this is where you pay a company, the Cryogenics Institute of California, to freeze you when you die. The idea is that you will be revived at some unspecified time in the future when the technology to do so is available. That's very trusting, isn't it, really? I mean, presumably people who can afford to be frozen were rich and successful in life. I mean, there's nothing to stop some evil dictator taking over at some time in the future, reviving you and forcing you to clean her toilet 20 hours of the day. But in the end, nobody wants to die, do they? But it costs an awful lot of money to be frozen by the Cryogenics Institute. So I've come here to the Women's Institute, where these lovely ladies are going to preserve me. Ready, ladies?
Ready!
Next tonight, the spellbinding myths of King Arthur and the Holy Grail in John Borman's Excalibur.